table. Please turn your microphone when speaking. For those participating via Zoom, please state your name when making a comment or asking a question. The MAG public comment process allows members of the public to comment on items that fall under MAG's jurisdiction. If you'd like to comment at today's meeting, please complete the request to speak form. MAG staff can assist you with any questions you may have. If you parked in the garage, a validation stamp is available on the counter up here to my right. If you purchase a transit ticket to come to the meeting, please see staff for a ticket. Hearing assistant devices are available for MAG staff. We will now begin the meeting with a roll call of all members.
Shane Kiso, City of Epoxy Junction.
Present.
Sergeant Craig Martin, Arizona DPS. Amarul Rajib as proxy for Jacob Pruitt, ADOT.
Yes, I'm present.
Raj Thadam, City of Avondale.
Present.
Craig Sharp, City of Buckeye.
Present.
Raymond Huang, City of Chandler.
I'm here. Good morning.
Nick Russo, City of El Mirage. Glenn Robinson, FHWA.
Good morning, I'm here.
Andy Smith, Town of Florence. Nathan Williams as proxy for Aaron Pinkerton, Town of Gilbert. Tony Ebo, City of Glendale.
Good morning, I'm present.
Eric Sessick, City of Goodyear. Jesse Torres, Governor's Office of Highway Safety. Keith Janaski, City of Litchfield Park. Kerry Osborne, City of Maricopa. Elise Moore, Maricopa County Department of Transportation. Stephen Bach, City of Mesa.
Present.
Camilla Wickerly as proxy for Austin Kennedy, City of Peoria.
Present.
Carl Langford, City of Phoenix.
Present.
Tara Harmon, Pinal County Department of Transportation.
Good morning, I'm present.
Jan Martin, Town of Queen Creek.
Good morning, present.
Sam Taylor, City of Scottsdale.
Good morning, I'm here.
Stephen Chang as proxy for Dana Oceani, City of Surprise.
Present.
Ellie Vollison as proxy for Michelle Beckley, City of Tempe. Dr. Alyssa Ryan, University of Arizona. Adrian Ruiz, Valley Metro.
Here.
Adrian, you were very quiet.
Oh, sorry. Present. Can you hear me?
Yes, that's much better. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thought I heard something. Mr. Chair, that concludes our roll call, and we do have quorum.
Thank you. Before I move on to item number 2, I want to welcome 2 new members. Elise Moore from McDOT, welcome. And Andrew Smith from Florence. Are you there, Andrew? Okay, Andrew's still not there. Okay. Anyway, well, I wanted to welcome both of them. So at this point, I will move on to item number 2, which is the call to audience.
One moment before you guys move on. This is Eric Sessick, City of Goodyear. I am present. I joined a little bit late.
Okay, well, welcome. You got that, Chris? Okay, thank you. Okay, I go back to, this is item number 2, call to audience. This is the opportunity for the public to comment on items that fall under MAG's jurisdiction that are not on the agenda, informational items, or items on the agenda for discussion and not for action. 15 minutes will be provided for the call to audience unless the chair requests an exception to the limits. I have not received. I've received no request for speak or request to speak for the call to audience. MAG also provides an opportunity for members of the public to submit written comments via MAG's website. Any comments received 2 hours prior to the meeting have to be shared with the committee members in advance of the meeting for consideration and will be included in the formal meeting minutes. I have not received any online written comments, so with that, since this is a information item, no action is being requested. We will move on to MAG, or item number 3, MAG staff report. This is an item on the agenda for information that will be presented by Ms. Margaret Herrera, MAG Transportation Safety Program Manager. Margaret?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Transportation Safety Committee. I have a couple of items today, and I also wanted to confirm, Glenn, are you online?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Okay. I'm going to turn it over to you first for your update. Can you see the slides?
I can, yes. Thank you and good morning. Hope everyone had a good Memorial weekend. I still have about 20 hours left in mine, so but I thought it was important to attend today, and I wanted to give an update on the Safe Streets and Roads for All Notice of Funding Opportunity. So there have been some changes compared to prior NOFOs, so I wanted to go through some of those changes with you all today. The NOFO is still open, so I'm limited on what I can discuss or answer questions, but there is a link where you can submit questions. So let's get through this. So for this current fiscal year 2025 NOFO, there is only one application deadline, and that is June 26th, 2025. There have been some changes in definitions. One of the definitions I pointed out here is the underserved community has the same definition as area of persistent poverty. The maximum award for planning and demonstration grants is $5 million. I think that came down from $10 million on prior NOFOs. And then the implementation grants, I believe those are $2.5 million up to $25 million. Some of the updates for the action plan requirements for planning and demonstration grants. So if you're applying for either a supplemental planning or demonstration activity, if you do not have your own plan, however, there's a higher level jurisdiction that has an eligible finalized action plan. If certain criteria exist, then you would be eligible for those supplemental planning or demonstration activities. So those criteria would be if the geographic boundaries of those higher level jurisdictions action plan cover your jurisdiction. The proposed activities are coordinated with the higher level jurisdiction and the applicant demonstrates that coordination. And the activities will inform the action plan of the higher level jurisdiction. Next slide. If you're applying for an SS4A grant, you can use no more than 3 plans to meet the action plan requirement. There are some updates regarding implementation grant applications as well as awards. So if you are applying for an implementation grant, you must update your action plan during the performance period for the grant agreement to align with all action plan components if certain conditions exist. So 3 of those would be if you have a no response on your self-certification eligibility worksheet, if the safety focus in the qualifying action plan does not include all road users, and that would include pedestrians, bicyclists, as well as motor vehicle users. Finally, implementation grant applicants are encouraged to request supplemental planning funding in their application. That's to complete any missing components of an existing plan. But you can also choose to complete those activities without requesting federal funding. Next. The action plan components table has been updated. Implementation grant selection criteria was updated, and there's references to rescind executive orders and priorities from the previous administration. Those have been removed. So again, there's a link here for the SS4A grant application resources. I would encourage you to explore that link if you have questions. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Glenn. Just as a reminder as well, any links that you see on the presentations that you can access at the Safety Committee webpage for today's meeting to access the presentation and the links. So just thought I would mention that. Moving forward, we'll go over some quick updates on the fiscal year 2025 projects. Nearly complete is the Safe Routes to School studies, as well as the the media contract for CME AZ. That's almost complete. In addition to that, we have a fiscal year 2025 local agency safety study that we are planning to pick back up in the fall. We got really close to the end of the fiscal year as well as the end of the school year to be able to do the data collection for that. So we're going to go ahead and just pick that back up in September. And then upcoming for fiscal year 2026, we have the non-motorized user network screening. We do have the work that was done for the framework for that. We're looking at some different vendors for safety analysis, and we may look into whichever one we might choose, providing them with that framework so that the MAG region non-motorized network screening could be incorporated into that platform. So it kind of depends on who we select, but more news on that coming up. And then in addition, the MAG intersection predictive safety tool, MIST, that is now available online. You can request at mist@azmag.gov for access to that, and we'll help you out with that. We're also going to be adding segments. The tool as it exists right now is largely for intersections. We're going to be working on a project to expand that to segments in the next fiscal year. And then in addition to that, the Regional Priority Safety Implementation Toolkit that is getting ready to launch. We want to include data from our Safe Routes to School studies in that. So that'll be an upcoming project as well to include that data in the platform. One thing I do want to mention, you see our Safety Data New Year note there. That's always kind of anticipated. We don't know exactly when ADOT will be releasing that data. However, I did want to mention that this year, for those of you who have roadway safety program projects, you typically see an email from me reminding you you have to do your annual reporting. We are going to hold off on that for just a little bit so that we can try to get the the calendar year 2024 crash data in that reporting. So look for that soon. Next slide, please. As I mentioned on the previous slide, we're getting ready to launch the Regional Priority Safety Implementation Tool. We're putting some finishing touches on some of the resources that are going to be under the About tab there. There's going to be a couple of videos, instructional, and so on. So we're getting ready to launch that. So look for that. And that will be available at the MAG Safety Programs webpage, and it'll be accessible by all. And as I mentioned as well, the MIST, the Predicted Safety Tool, we are planning on holding 3 workshops. It'll be 3 hours, and they will be virtual. And this is for MAG member agencies. And we recommend that you request access to the MIST prior to that so that you can kind of follow along with that, with the instructions. We'll be utilizing services from our safety program associate, Mike Kuzel. He'll be the one actually providing the workshop. And we're looking at Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting with August 7th. So we'll narrow that down to 3 days and then send out the invitations. You can just dismiss those that your schedule doesn't meet, but if you could just respond to the one that does fit your schedule. I don't believe we're going to have a limit. I think it's, we'll probably do a Zoom platform. So I don't think there's a limit on the Zoom. So I think, we're not going to limit the size, that being virtual. The crossing guard training workshops are coming up. We finally, not finally, but we do have 3 locations. Just wanted to thank Chandler for coordinating the use of Perry High School. That'll be on July 14th. You'll notice that some of these are occurring a little earlier. We are happy to provide these a little bit earlier this year in order to get some more of the East Valley crossing guards to be able to attend. So always we have Rio Vista Community Center on July 28th, and then Phoenix Memorial Hall on August 5th. The registration is on the Safe Routes to School webpage. And we would like to respectfully request that all of you who work with schools get this information out to them, and so their guards can register for one of the workshops that is available to them. Okay, just one item that didn't actually make it onto the slides. I just wanted to give everyone a heads up that you may notice that Mazen is not here, and we welcomed Elise more earlier. Mazen has left McDOT, and in that instance, we will need to, I'll be sending out a memo to request nominations for a new vice chair. So look for that. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Margaret. With that, since this was an information item, there will be no action taken, and we will move on to the approval of March 25th, 2025 meeting minutes. Does any member of the committee have any questions? Okay, hearing none, prior to the approval of the meeting minutes, there is an opportunity for members of the public to comment, and I have received no request for this item. Okay, staff, have we received any online written comments? I assume that no is the answer, correct?
Mr. Chair, we have not received any written comments for
Okay.
this agenda item.
Is there a motion to approve agenda item number 4? Is there a motion?
Hey, this is Shane here. I'll move for the passage of the minutes, and I believe it should be the March 25th, 2025 meeting minutes as
Oh, yeah.
printed.
Yes.
This is Elise. I'll second that.
Okay. We have a motion from Shane and a second from Elise. We will have those participating in the meeting online take part in a voice vote by turning on their cameras and unmuting their video. We need to see the faces of everyone to participate in the voice vote. For those who cannot or do not want to turn on their cameras, staff will conduct a roll call vote. Staff will only call those virtual participants who did not turn on their camera. Members, please leave your camera on until after the roll call vote so that we can count the people's names whose cameras are not on. Can I have a voice vote for those in the room and those online? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Okay. Chris, do you want to go ahead and do the roll call?
Mr. Chair, Stephen Chang, City of Surprise. Looks like your camera is on, but we weren't able to see you, so we need to hear how you vote.
Sure. Abstain.
Abstain. Thank you. And Adrian Ruiz, Valley Metro.
Adrian?
Mr. Chair, that concludes the voting.
Okay. Then the action is approved, and we'll move on to item number 5. This is an item that's on the agenda for information and will be presented by Mr. Larry Talley, ADOT Highway Safety Improvement Program Manager. Larry?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Before I get into the status of the scoping, just a little background on why we have a separate scoping phase this year. Instead of accomplishing the scoping at the same time we do the design of the project. Let me see if I can get my act together here. How do we?
We can advance the slide for you.
Okay. In December 22, early 23, there was an audit conducted of the Highway Safety Improvement Program with the objective was to determine whether the program delivery process was operating effectively and efficiently. The recommendation out of that audit was that TSS, Traffic Safety Section, should work with Project Management Group to include scope and budget review in the programming process before approving the design and construction of HSIP eligible projects. The result was that TSS added a separate scoping phase to the eligibility process. This is a slide that was originally developed, or the timetable that was originally developed to roll out the scoping phase of the process. It moved along smoothly up until July. And that's when it fell apart. We had several things happen at the same time to include reorganization of ADOT. The biggest issue was myself going out on FLMA for an extended period of time through September. And there was no one, since I'm the only one in the section, there was no one really eligible or available to pick up the program and move it forward. So anything after July pretty much was postponed. Next slide. So in October, I came back, or was able to get the scoping list approved by the TSMO management, what was left of it at that point, and was able to submit the list to the state or ADOT project review board. While we were waiting, nope, stay on that. Yep. While we were waiting for the state transportation board to approve the project list, I met with the project management group to turn over the list to them to have project managers assigned to move the scoping forward. And at that time, which was November the 12th, I was advised that because it was not a design and construction phase, that I would have to manage the scoping projects. So you can imagine that as not being a project manager, I was totally unfamiliar with the system as to how to get projects established, how to get purchase orders in place so that I could get notice NTPs, so I could get the scoping consultants on board. So that all occurred. Next slide. That all occurred in November and December. So what has happened since that time was all the projects have been established. The consultants are currently working on the state applications. And the reason they're working on state applications is because we didn't have to have JPAs in place and receive the local contributions. So I was able to obtain the NTPs for the state applications. There were a total of 55 applications with 30 at that time, 35 being local and 20 being state. I have two consultants on board, Burgess and Nipel and Kimberly Horn, who are doing the scoping. The state scoping is moving along really well. The only slowdown that we're having on it is being able to coordinate meetings with the local agencies to go through the applications. But once we get, we're able to do Zoom meetings with the districts, walk through the applications. They're asking a lot of good, hard questions, and it's interesting to see that in most cases you have the technicians who put together the applications and submit them. And when you get the district administrators and the development engineers in the room and start asking, why are you doing this? It's like, okay, that's not going to go. You can take that out of the application. So anyway, but the bottom line there is that's moving along, and we're happy with the work that the consultants are doing. On the local side, all of the final JPAs have been sent out except for 2. And Carl, if you're still there, I would ask you to take a look for T0655 to see. I may not have gotten an email from the contracts group that they have sent the final to you, but T0656, we have sent you all the final JPA. The other JPA that hasn't been finalized yet is with an agency that was not able to get it in front of their council or whoever has to approve the JPA until tomorrow. So, and having said that, arrangements have been made with finance to forward the scoping invoice to the local agency the same day the signed JPA is received by ADOT. And that's not exactly happening. It's more like the day after we receive the final signatures on the JPA. As of this morning, I had received, or I had been notified that we have received the local match from 10 of the 34 local agencies, or not agencies, but on 10 of the 34 JPAs. So that's moving along fairly well, and that's really on the locals that they have set up to expedite getting those funds into us. Next slide. Okay. Here's the key. JPAs have to be signed and local contributions sent to ADOT by this coming Friday. And the reason for that is because I have to have all of my paperwork into the project review board next Wednesday at noon, which will go in front of the PRB on June 10th. If we don't get it through PRB on June 10th, then those are state fiscal year 25 funds, and those funds go away. PRB has not committed any manner of what will happen if I miss that June 10th date on some projects. I do not know if they will, if we have to go to 26, that means we have to go to PRB, PPAC, and the State Transportation Board for approval before I can go back and ask for the FY26 funds to do those. Our goal is that we will start scoping on the local projects on July 21st. And the intent is to have the scoping complete by September 19th. But talking to the local or the two consultants, that will probably be more like the end of September before the scoping is complete. Once scoping is complete, next slide, please. Then I will submit a final ranking of revised applications. We are now under multimodal planning division, so I will have to get our management approval. Once I get our management approval, I'll submit the list to PRB for approval. Then November 5th, the list is submitted to PPAC for approval, and November 15th would be the State Transportation Board approval. Once the State Transportation Board is approved, then I will issue the eligibility letters. Next slide, please. So just so you have a feel for where we are, in the applications that we received that we're scoping, we received a total of 223 million for design. I have obligation authority in FY27 for 32.7 mil. So we're good there, except for the fact that we just received our federal HSIP special rules letter, and we have to have a little over $9 million in VRU projects in 27. And I only have applications for roughly 7 million. So we're going to have to take a look at crash data, and hopefully we can find some more, or we will have to find some more vulnerable road user projects to put in that 27 program. So in the applications in FY28, we received a request for $210 million. I have an obligation authority for 56.1 mil. In FY29, the request was for 10.8 mil. And we have an obligation authority for 51 mil. The point being here is the total request that we received was 221 mil, and I have an obligation authority of 107 mil. So as you can see, there's a shortage of roughly $114 million there. So that line will be drawn at roughly 1.7 mil, although I have 3 mil in projects that have been deferred out of 25 that PRB has not advised me as to what year I am to put those projects. So we're going to have way more requests for funds than we have obligation authority. So, and hit the next button again, and just keeping in mind, scoping does not guarantee in design and construction funding. So, Mr. Chairman, that's an update on where we stand. I am open for questions.
Thank you, Larry. Does anybody have any questions for Larry? Not a single one? You are lucky, Larry. I think it was a very good presentation, and we do appreciate that, and especially appreciate the timelines that you've given us. I think that will help us at least answer some questions at the local level. So
Again, this is the first time we've done it, and it's been a learning curve for a lot of people on what it takes to get this stuff set up. Just for information, the next call for projects will be for fiscal years 30, 31, 32. And I'll back up. I just thought of something. And we will probably issue the advance call. The call in January of 27 will be when we will probably start the process again. The problem with that is it puts me on the same timeline as this one. And we want to try to adjust that, but so that we don't end up butting up against this end of the fiscal year with the funding source. What I did want to add on that one slide where I was showing how much money was available in 2028 and 29, when the consultants meet with the local agencies and they address the scope of the project, if it's like a signal or a project that is going to require utility relocations or possibly right-of-way acquisitions, we're going to move the construction phase of that into 29, just because we're finding out you can't do it in 2 years. By the time we go out, hire consultants to do the design, get everything set up, and you get the environmental clearances, it is better to schedule those over a 3-year span instead of a 2-year. So that 10 million people, several applications, they requested funds in 28 that we already know that we want to move to 29.
So I will go ahead and ask you a question. As you were mentioning all this, something came up, and I just want to confirm. You said January of 27, right? When you're going to put out the next call?
Yep.
Not 26, 27.
27.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that that was correct. So obviously you're going to have some projects that are good candidates this time around, and may not get selected. Will those automatically move onto your next call for projects, or do the agencies need to apply again?
Well, the consultants will provide the agencies after they have scoped the project. They're going to be looking primarily at scope, schedule, and budget. They're going to provide a revised they're going to provide us a scoping document, but in there will be the cost estimates, the benefit to cost ratio, everything you need if your project doesn't get submitted to resubmit the project the next time. Because you will probably want to update it because it's going to be a couple of your cost estimates are going to be a couple of years old at that point when we do the next call. So you'll probably want to take a look at that.
Understood. Thank you. Any other questions for Larry?
Yes, Aaron with Gilbert. Quick question: when if you go back to you said the value engineering or vulnerable road users in 27, you need to add some more to that. Are you going to be trying to move other projects forward, or are you looking for new projects? What's your plan for that 2 million?
We won't know until we get a handle on what projects are going to be if there's any projects that are going to be in 28 that will move forward. We've got a couple of projects that we can potentially move forward if we have to, that were designed earlier. But that's something to keep in mind, that the state is required to meet 15% of the apportionment in the vulnerable road user program. And as I said, in 27, we're looking at 9 million. In 26, we're looking at 8, or 25, I'm sorry. In 25, we're looking at 8 million. So we've got that we're on target to hit that $8 million. 26 will be, I think we'll be okay in 26, but 27, because the applications, 27 is our design year where we're designing all the projects to be constructed in 28, 29. That's where we're going to have to look at adding some construction in there.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, thank you, Larry. We do appreciate you taking time and, giving us this presentation. There was a lot of good information, so I do appreciate it. So since this is an information and discussion item, there'll be no action taken. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Moving on to agenda item number 6, fiscal year 2026 local agency safety studies, Buckeye request. This item is on the agenda for information and will be presented by Craig Sharp, Buckeye project engineer, traffic. Thank you.
All right.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee. Yeah, this year we're looking to do an RSA for our Watson Road in Sundance, right there in Buckeye. As I was pulling this up, I was pulling some kind of cool facts that I thought was interesting. The intersection was built in 2002, and our population was just to almost 12,000 people. The west leg was then built in 2007, and our population was almost 36,000, so it was almost a 200% increase. And where we are this year, we're at almost 120,000. We're at 893% increase. So we are exploding in terms of size. So yeah, this intersection, it needs some help. So in addition to that, we've got a multifamily development that's coming in on the west side of the commercial development over there too. So that's gonna not only add traffic, that's gonna strain the intersection. And we've got a couple small build to rent developments on the east side. So you can move over to the next slide. Yeah. So all this information we pulled off of our citywide capacity study that Y2K is doing for us. This is all, great data that we've been able to pull. This intersection is our second highest crash intersection in the city, with a total of 209 crashes from 14 to 23. 103 of them are injuries, 2 of them were bike and ped, 40% are rear end, and 35% angle and left turn. Another cool tool on the capacity study was they also identified day and night accidents and collisions. 74% were during the day and 25% at night. So it's one of those things that we can kind of really look at as to what's going on. You can also see there the crashes by year and injury severity based on the year 2015 to 2020. It's just one of our worst intersections we've got in the city. So again, as I said before, we've got this development that's coming into the city that's on the west of the intersection. Based on their traffic impact analysis, they're going to be adding about 40,000 cars a day, with AM and PM peaks of 3,300 and 1,700 respectively. So this is one of those intersections that we really need some help on. We look forward to working with MAG on getting it through. So with that, I think I got under 5 minutes, right?
Oh, that you did. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may, did you want to speak to this slide? Or did you already?
Oh, this was the daily volume, the
Okay.
40,000 for the, oh, and the negative offsets. I'm sorry, I did miss that one. Yeah, we've got a negative offset. We're looking to fix it also. About 34 feet offset between the left turns. And again, with really.
How wide is that median? It looks like on the east leg, you have a pretty sizable. median.
It is, we're thinking that's gonna be one of the solutions is thin that out a little
Alright.
bit and make it a little, bring it up a little closer. I think it's about 10 feet. But I don't know off the top of my head what it actually is.
All right. Well, thank you, Craig. Do any members have questions or comments for Craig?
Just one comment from Gilbert. Feel free to reach out, but we've done a couple of iterations of positive offsets for left turns, and we found out originally when we just pulled the median back, people didn't shift over, and we found if we tapered the median, people would follow the median better. So when you're just looking at the design of that, improving that positive offset is, okay, what are drivers going to do? Because even if you just pull back the median and open it up, they won't always shift over. If you give something for them to follow, we found that a little more effective.
Okay, so you pull the median back and just stripe it?
That was our first version we did, was we pulled the median back like 50 feet or so and just put those little domes. And or maybe it was only it was about 2 car lengths, so about 50 feet. And cars didn't do anything. They continued the tangential line adjacent to the curb, and they wouldn't pop over very far. Granted, our medians weren't quite as wide. But we did find when we went down to like a 8-inch curb, kind of median in the middle. And then we just angled that, we followed that tangent a little bit and then angled it back. And they seemed to follow that better. Cause like, oh, I follow the edge of this curb to left turn. So that's been better. Cause yeah, otherwise they just drove right on top of the striped carrot we put out there. And we're like, why? You can't see, but so we're working on updating our standards, but they probably won't be done until I think it's they get distributed in January. So we're working on an actual official standard for positive offsets.
Okay. Yeah, we've got the same thing. This was just back in 2002. And we're kind of trying to retrofit what we've got. Thank you, though.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for Craig?
Yes, I got a question for Craig. This is Raj Stoughton. I was just wondering, what's that cost, estimated cost, $25,000 for? Is it for median pullback or something else?
I'm sorry, say again?
That $25,000 estimate cost shown on the screen, is that for the median modification or something else?
This was just for the RSA for the report, the study.
Oh, I see. That's for the concept of it. Another question, have we just tried the protector left turn only to accommodate the traffic? I mean, like as an interim solution?
I'm sorry, can you say again?
Have we just tried the protector left turn only at this intersection as an interim solution?
Yeah, we've talked about that. We've talked about a split phase at the intersection here, running at split phase. The challenge is we want to be able to make it as efficient as possible with the amount of development on the east and on the west, and we don't want to limit our left turn times. So that's kind of what we're hoping is if we can.
No. I'm not talking the split phase. I'm talking about the protector left turn arrow only.
The protected left turns. Which one was it, east or west?
Yeah.
What he's asking is, have you thought about just going to a protected phase at all time for the left turn movements? So they don't go into the protected permissive, which is, which that helps you get the traffic. I think that's the question. And I don't want to answer for you, but my guess is that's what you're hoping that maybe the RSA would be one of the recommendations. But I guess his question was, in the interim, if you have an issue while you wait for that, is going to a protected left at all times a solution that you guys, and my guess would be because of capacity issues, that may be a thing, but I'll let you answer.
No, that's exactly right. That's what we're looking for. We've actually got a couple of our guys going out to look and see if we can turn it into a protected left in an interim until we get our report back from MAG. So, but yeah, we're hoping to get some ideas back from MAG as to what they
The,
suggest.
the- the reason I brought it up is because, on Dysart corridor, we have a similar problem. What we did was we changed the signal heads to our heads, and we're just running on a predictive mode only throughout the day, and it's working fine for us.
Okay.
All
Thank-
right, thank you. Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for Craig? All right, hearing that. Oh. Raj, that was you, correct?
Yes, it was me. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Just needed to confirm up here, but, okay, thank you. All right, since this was a information and discussion item, there'll be no action taken, and we'll move to item number 7, request for future agenda items. Does anybody have any items that they'd like to share with the committee? Any items? Not all at once? All right, hearing none, the next agenda item is comments from the committee. Are there any comments or announcements from membership?
Aaron with Gilbert. Actually, it's probably more for maybe an agenda item now. Red light running. I'm not sure. I'm curious to see what the other regions have done. I know we're getting some questions from our council about red light cameras. And so some specifics about if any members that have red light cameras, what they're finding for effectiveness, cost, staffing, all of that would be appreciated.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? We'll go ahead around the table first, and then we'll see if anybody else wants to add any comments.
I don't really have any updates. I just want to thank everyone for welcoming me today. Really pleased to join the committee. And, I was just telling Chairman Abo, hopefully Mazen will join us again at some point. His plans are to join ADOT. So thank you.
Thank you, Elisa, and welcome again. Like I said, we're going to enjoy having you on this committee, correct?
I have no updates. Thank you.
Hi, just on the topic of red light cameras, Tempe installed red light running enforcement cameras at 14 intersections that went into the warning phase on May 12th, I believe. Just working out kinks and things like that. And then tickets will start being issued the second week in June. And so we'll have, I don't know the answers that you were asking from Gilbert yet, but maybe soon.
How has the program been accepted by the residents?
Honestly, so far, pretty positive, to be
Okay,
honest. We've gotten some suggestions like from people who have a lot of technical knowledge saying things like, well, if you're going to do it this way, maybe you should also look at these treatments or maybe look at these types of striping, but nothing saying that we shouldn't do it.
all right, excellent. Shane?
Nothing from AJ today. Thank you.
Okay, from Glendale, we continue. We've got 3 Hawks up and operational. We have one more that we're working on with ADOT, which hopefully should be done in the next 30 days. So I know we're not like one of our sister agencies in Phoenix, but hopefully before the end of the year or maybe towards the middle of next year, we'll be hopefully in double digits. But I can only hope so. And that's it for us.
Mr. Chair, for the members online, I'll begin with Sergeant Craig Martin, Arizona DPS. Amarul Rajib, ADOT.
Hello. Yeah. No, I don't have anything to discuss.
Thank you. Raj Taudam, City of Avondale.
Yes, we recently just opened a hawk signal at El Mirage and Alamore Park, and two more are coming the next couple of months for us. So as a safe after school report, we are doing these two projects. So like Glendale, we are kind of like adding more hawk signals to the city network. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Raymond Huang, City of Chandler.
Yeah, we have nothing to update at this time. Thanks.
Glenn Robison, FHWA.
Nothing from Federal Highways. Thank you.
Aaron Pickerton, Town of Gilbert. Any other items?
Just one thing, we completed our strategic master plan for all of engineering, so CIP and all the different parts within traffic. Kind of as a side note, we've had a lot of growth in the last few years since we've started in both positions, and we've recently switched from Public Works to the Town Management's office. So that's getting kind of the bugs worked out for that. So we kind of did a strategic visioning plan for what's the future and how we're going to look. Besides that, no additional comments.
Thank you. Eric Sasek, City of Goodyear.
City of Goodyear has just finished their. Can you guys hear me? Not sure if I came through.
Yes.
Yes.
City of Goodyear has just finished our Vineyard Curve safety project that was funded through MAG Road Safety Program. So you guys will probably get a presentation on that in a couple weeks. Other than that, no updates.
Thank you, Eric. Keith Dranaski, City of Litchfield Park.
No updates from the city.
Thank you. Stephen Bach, City of Mesa.
Nothing at this point. Thank you.
Camilla Wickerly, City of Peoria.
Hi, yes. Just this past Thursday, City of Peoria activated our 149th traffic signal at the intersection of Cotton Crossing and Whitney Lane. So that's fully functioning and is on, and no other updates. Thank you.
Thank you. Carl Langford, City of Phoenix.
Morning, everyone. One item to update. We recently hit our 1200 traffic signal in the city officially installed. We were getting close for a number of years. And we have our 111th Hawk recently installed. We're doing quite a bit with those items. One other note regarding red light running camera. We're in discussions with council on some of that. We're working towards a program that, depending on politics, may get initiated towards the end of this calendar year.
Thank you, Carl. Tara Harmon, Pinal County DOT.
Good morning. Nothing to report on behalf of Pinal County, but on a personal note, I want to welcome Elise and let her know that I look forward to working with her again.
Thank you, Tara. Jen Martin, Town of Queen Creek.
Yeah, Town of Queen Creek's wrapping up its transportation master plan update. That should be finished next month. And we also just recently completed a mobility study, alternatives to transportation. We were hoping to have our safety action plan running concurrently, but unfortunately that got held up. But hopefully with the SSA for grants moving forward, we'll get that back on track. No other updates at this time.
Thank you. Sam Taylor, City of Scottsdale.
Hello, everyone. So we recently completed a bit of a reorganization we used to have a transportation and streets department. We got combined with our capital project management group. So now we're called transportation and infrastructure. And we're reporting under the city engineer now. So it's kind of an organizational change. We're still continuing to move forward with our strategic transportation safety plan through SS4A, making good progress on that. And then regarding the photo enforcement, as well. We've had experience for several years now with some fixed red light running cameras at intersections. And so if anyone's interested, we can give you some information that we've collected over the years on that. We've had traditionally around 11, kind of varies, I think, here and there, but about 11 intersections that we have federal enforcement at. So, yep.
Thank you, Sam. Stephen Chang, City of Surprise.
Nothing to report from the City of Surprise at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Adrian Ruiz, Valley Metro.
Hello, good morning. A couple of things. Obviously, we have our opening for South Central is June 7th. So we'll be opening the South Central extension, goes to baseline. We also have a signal optimization study that is coming to a conclusion. Looking at left turn crashes that do continue to impact the system with folks who are disobeying that left turn arrow or right turn arrow. So hopefully that optimization study and crash study will come out with some good recommendations. Other than that, that's our update. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Mr. Chair, members of the TSC, that concludes comments from committee members online.
Could I add one more comment? Sorry, this is Carl Langford, City of Phoenix.
Carl.
One item I forgot to mention, we are currently working on an SS4A a speed limit setting study for the City of Phoenix. And the reason I bring it up, we do have a survey out at the moment, a public survey that we're requesting information. It's kind of a feedback, kind of how people attitudes towards speed limits and whatnot. Seeing as how most of you probably drive through Phoenix at some point, we'd encourage people to look at that survey. You can access it through our phoenix.gov/road safety website.
Excellent. Thank you. We'll look forward to hearing what the results are. At least I would.
Sounds good.
All right. With no other comments, this was an information item, so no action was going to be taken on that. And item 8. So I move to adjourning this meeting. The next meeting of the Transportation Safety Committee Board or Safety Committee will be on Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025 at 10 a.m. with no further business. And it's now 11:03. Today's meeting is adjourned. And thank you for all.
Thank you, everyone.